Russia has intensified the military assault on Kyiv in an attempt to seize the Ukrainian capital. This comes as Russian invasion of Ukraine now entered its 27th day. The Ukrainian capital has now announced a new 35-hour curfew to limit residents' movement. The curfew, which begins at 8 p.m. local time on March 21st, will last until 7 a.m. on March 23rd.
Комендантська година в Києві та області знову буде посилена. Розпочнеться вона сьогодні у 20:00 і триватиме до 7 ранку 23 березня, тобто до післязавтра. Магазини, аптеки, заправки, установи працювати завтра не будуть.
The development came as parts of the Ukrainian capital came under intense shelling over the weekend. Now, according to Ukrainian authorities, at least 8 people were killed after Russian bombs destroyed a shopping center in Kyiv region on Sunday, and cars parked in the adjacent parking lot caught fire following Russian shelling. The Retroville shopping mall, a powerful explosion later rocked the same site on Monday. Although the reason for the blast was not known, firefighters were immediately deployed to douse the flames. Moscow, meanwhile, has accused Kyiv of storing rockets in shopping malls to aid Ukrainian troops amid the conflict. During a briefing on Monday, Russian Defense Ministry spokesperson Igor Konashenkov said that they hit the shopping complex as it was allegedly used to reload rocket launchers and store rockets.
Так, на окраине Киева, в районе Виноградарь, украинские националистические подразделения в течение нескольких дней прикрывались жилыми домами и вели обстрелы из реактивных систем залпового огня по российским военнослужащим. При этом площади, расположенного рядом торгового центра, использовались в качестве крупной базы для хранения реактивных боеприпасов и перезарядки систем залпового огня. На видеокадрах объективного контроля хорошо видно, как в торговый центр на окраине Киева въезжает украинская установка залпового огня для укрытия после очередного залпа и перезарядки ракет. Высокоточным оружием большой дальности ночью 21 марта была уничтожена батарея украинских реактивных систем залпового огня и база хранения их боеприпасов в неработающем торговом центре. Хотим еще раз обратить внимание западных средств массовой информации. Нами представлены абсолютные доказательства преступного использования киевским националистическим режимом гражданских объектов в жилых кварталах Киева и в других городах Украины в качестве огневых позиций, артиллерии и реактивных систем.
President Zelensky, meanwhile, has once again slammed Moscow for seeking to destroy his country. During a statement, he said Moscow wanted Ukraine to hand over Kharkiv, Mariupol and Kyiv, adding that neither the people of Ukraine or him as the president will let this happen. He further urged all the Ukrainians who are currently under Russian occupation to fight for their freedom.
I appeal to everyone in our country and to those abroad, in cities and villages, those who are free and who are temporarily under occupation, in Crimea, in Donetsk, in Luhansk, where they must also fight for freedom, not sit and wait.
Large areas around Kyiv remain under Ukrainian control despite Russian forces attempting to encircle and cut off the capital. Russian troops advancing on the capital have faced strong Ukrainian resistance and also had serious logistical problems, with many vehicles running out of fuel. Ukraine's main focus has been to keeping Russian artillery out of range of the city center. However, shelling continues to cause casualties and destroy homes. For more on this, joining us live from Lviv is our correspondent Anas Malik. Anas Malik, good to see you. Any major development in Ukraine in the last 24 hours apart from the curfew being imposed? And what's the latest from Lviv?
Well, the major development is that we've seen a renewed call for talks by President Zelensky with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He says that only negotiations can open the way forward for something concrete. We saw that horrific account from the AP journalist, the last international journalist who were in Mariupol, and you rightly mentioned that there's a curfew that has been imposed. We've seen or we've heard air sirens going off in the city of Kyiv, despite the fact that there was a curfew overnight, though there haven't been any concrete or verified reports of explosions or any damage to civilian property or any property for that matter. I took the road journey from Kyiv to Lviv. That took me about 10 hours. We took a detour because the direct route from Kyiv down west where I am is considered very unsafe. So we had to take a detour for about 150 kilometers. You'd find general tensions on the streets, hostility, the police or army personnel checking your press accreditation, verifying your press accreditation that has been issued by the local authorities over here. Then you'd find lesser cars on the road, lights being shut off, almost ghost towns along the entire highway where you've driven, about 600 kilometers that I've driven, and the entire place was a ghost town. Eric?
Malik, despite resistance from Ukrainian forces in the capital, if Russian forces do indeed manage to capture Kyiv, for example, what impact will that have on this war?
Well, it would have a significant impact for one very reason. Kyiv is considered as to be the center of power in Ukraine right now, and optically that center of power, if it gets to the Russian side, then essentially that means that they end up losing the entire country or cutting the entire country off from essential supplies, be that be arms supplies, be that be electricity supplies, be that be water distribution channels and other different essential channels. So that would be very significant. But one thing that is to be mentioned, Eric, over here is the fact that everybody's focused on Kyiv, and rightly so, but there's a humanitarian catastrophe that is currently that has unfolded in Mariupol. We saw that horrific account coming in from the AP journalist, the last journalists who were there, and they alleged that they were on a Russian hit list as well, and they alleged that they went on to narrate their account on how difficult it was to report from Mariupol, and how people were coming up and stepping up and literally desperately asking them to show their faces to the world. That is the bigger tragedy, because in case and if the reports are to go by that the control of Mariupol is now a lost cause, then that means that it's not far from Odessa, and it's not far from the position of the Black Sea as well, and the Sea of Azov, and one it connects Crimea because it's down south. So and Odessa being the biggest port city of the country, there's a lot at stake for Ukraine right now, and the bigger problem is with regards to the quantitative armament or arms or ordnance. This battle, what we've seen by and large, is that it is qualitative ordnance versus quantitative ordnance. The Ukrainian forces might have qualitative ordnance, qualitative armor, but when it comes to quantity, clearly the Russians are outclassing them and outnumbering them. Eric?
Live from Lviv in Ukraine, Anas Malik, thank you very much for that update and for talking to us today. Stay safe.